morning, good afternoon, good evening, and you're welcome once again to Niger Seniors. My name is Busola Shebaniru. I'm an elderly inclusion advocate in Nigeria. You may wonder what that means. It means that anything that has to do with elderly people in Nigeria, advocating for them to be included in society, counts me in. So with me, I have my co-host there, Wonola Akintola. Wonu?
Yeah, hi, my name is Wonola Akintola. I'm a mental health educator passionate about holistic health, and I work as a child psychiatrist by profession and passionate about mental health for all ages.
Thank you. And that's who we are. But right now, it's all about Niger seniors. And today, we're going to be talking about culture and taboos. In recent times, there was an incident last month, late last month, where a woman in her 60s was burned to death by youth. The youth in our society are supposed to be the ones looking after the elderly ones. But because of certain beliefs that are in our culture, the people that should be taken care are the ones that are perpetrating evil, because I will call that evil. Why are they doing it? What are the circumstances that would lead into people ganging up, young people ganging up, to call someone a witch and then burning her to death? So we do have a number of things that we're going to be discussing along this line about culture and taboos. But why do we think that anyone will be considered a witch in this time and age? What are the things that will likely make another person identify an elderly person as a witch? What's your take on that?
We've got to be careful about the thoughts we're exposed to. And for every single human being, we are all a product of our thoughts and beliefs. So a suggestion is made to a child: if you're educated, you can never be poor. It could The child then becomes passionate about education. Or it could be at a young age, some beliefs shaping the way we behave, our outlook on life. We could say it's actually the lens through which we look at life. Now, if you look at something and you see it as a threat, what do? You want to address it. You want to get rid of it. Now, as if at a young age, you've been made to believe that any elderly person who's bent over is a witch. As you grow up, your guards are up and you keep thinking that person is a witch. And in cultural settings, if there's a misfortune, someone loses a baby or something happens, oh, it's the witch in the house, or it's the mother-in-law who's very old and bent over. We're not thinking, oh, this person may have arthritis, that's why their back is shaping like that. We're thinking because of that suggestion that may have been repeated to a child, and the child then holds on to that thought as they're growing up. When they then see people looking a certain way, that belief kicks in. That is a witch. That is a threat to my well-being. And they will do anything. We all live to survive. We strive to survive. Before you can achieve anything, you've got to survive first. So if you perceive a threat or you're made to believe something is a threat, you will do what you know to do to protect yourself. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it true. And that's why unhealthy beliefs have to be dismantled. It's like a virus in a program. If you don't uninstall that belief, it will continue to malfunction. And unfortunately, many erroneous, unhealthy, and deadly beliefs have been installed. Well, you could say in everyone and at different degrees. Some viruses are worse than others and then cause damage to other people like the elderly.
Right. Thank you for that. I'm saying that many erroneous beliefs have been installed. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of beautiful things in our culture. Our culture, we're culture rich, not just because we're Nigerians, but because we're Africans. We are definitely culture rich. But what is not good in our culture should be called out. Should be called out. There's so many things we were told as kids. I remember then if someone bites you, they say get okra and rub it off. That person's teeth will come out. And I remember being in a fight with my brother and he beat me. And out of anger, I went to get okra and rubbed it. I was waiting for days to see his teeth coming out. Nothing happened. Nothing. But that was what we were told. If you stand on a nail, if if you bite, accidentally stand on a nail or a nail goes into your feet, get it and get the nail out or stick it into an onion and then throw it far and say, this is the pain you caused me back at you. What is onion going to do to nail? So, but these are the things we were told as kids. A woman that has hair, the facial hair, is a witch. We were told that as well. These are all, but I mean, let's address the one with the woman with the facial hair. What could cause somebody having facial hair?
Hormonal changes, different things. Some of it genetic, yeah.
Some people, by their genes, they're more hairy than other people. And then,
Absolutely.
as a result of this, what we unconsciously do to people that are born naturally after their family genes, we stigmatize them. We isolate them. We push them aside. Everyone has, we all have rights to be in the same society, to live, right to space. Everyone is entitled. What gives you the right then to say somebody does not belong? Who are you? Who are we as a community? Who are we as a society? Who are we as parents? And what are we feeding our children? Some people might think that is it something that barbaric. Is this still existing in our time? June 2023 is when this happened in Cross River State. And the government took, decisive steps to fish out the perpetrators. And that's the reason why we are advocating for this, is to bring our society together, to help our seniors, to re-educate ourselves, to unlearn the negative things that have been programmed and causing us virus. Mind you, if we don't attack this and deal with this now, the same society we're coming back into it at that stage in life. Anyway. So another thing again that can, that affects people calling older people witches is the situation of dementia. And sometimes when mental health is coming in, mental health decline is coming in, it's not easily identified, even by educated people. And that's why it's always best to leave it to the professionals to identify if somebody is suffering from dementia or not. There's so many other things we're going to be discussing regarding culture and taboos, but just to bring the awareness of witchcraft. Witchcraft is not, in all cases, I don't know if it exists, I don't know if it doesn't. I'm not here to advocate for it or to debunk whether it's there or not. We are here to say that if something is not validated, don't take the laws into your hand. We're just appealing to you. What do you have to say on that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, in the context of a culture of witchcraft, when you're talking about witchcraft, it's actually looking at when you're trying to dominate, intimidate, or manipulate another person's feelings and emotions, another person's mind. And when we then do that to an elderly person and we think, oh, we're shielding ourselves, we may actually be practicing witchcraft, because we're disregarding the well-being of the elderly person. We're disregarding the state of the mind of the elderly person, and in trying to humiliate them and call them names say they're witches. What we're trying to do is actually take control of that person, controlling behavior, dominating, intimidating, manipulating, and forcing them to say, behave this way. Oh, you did this, confess. That behavior is actually witchcraft. So sometimes when people think they are calling an elderly person a witch, what they're actually practicing in that abusive way is witchcraft itself, because you're trying to control somebody to make them be what they're not, say what they didn't do, and be something else. So if we see any unhealthy practice, I'd say let's call it out. It's so important. Let's call it out. If we're not sure, let's ask a professional to do a health check. I know it may not sometimes be that easy, but at least there are people who know more about physical illnesses, whether it is mental or physical. Let's get help for the elderly person to be checked out by the right professional before we start saying it is something else. There's no justification for subjecting any human being to abuse. More so our elderly people who have paid their dues, they've done their best to help us. We have mothers there, we have fathers there. This is the time when they need us, because they're now in a vulnerable situation, does not mean they should be subject to abuse. So please, let's call out unhealthy behaviors and do the right things. Yes, it's an appeal. Let's call out unhealthy behaviors. Thank you.
Everyone is out there. Every one of us, we are all responsible. Everyone should be looking out for an elderly person in your community. You see them being treated, call it out. They're treated incorrectly, or call it out. That's the appeal we're making today. Call it out. You see wrongdoing, call it out. Whether it's in line with cultural things, as long as you can identify this is not right, please call it out. That's our appeal to you today, and that's all we have for you on Naija Singers. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.